Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Rock and Roll Brunch. Today, we're going to be talking about what the hell an NFT is.
It's very important.
And the
Wait,
newest
hold
record.
on. I have a confession.
Okay.
I have no idea how I'm going to contribute to this discussion today.
It's going to be rough.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just going to be the hype man today during the episode.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay, just so you know.
We're also going to talk about what the newest record is from local band Kali Masi. Hopefully, I'm also saying that right. So, stick around.
Guys, I do mean that. I don't know how to talk about NFTs right now. I'm just like
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
And I will explain it,
Okay.
and then we'll discuss it.
Help me, Chris.
You guys,
Help
you guys ever listen to an episode of a podcast where like one guy is like the main dude of the podcast, and the other guy's sort of like that's interesting. Let me
The mm-hummer.
Yeah.
for sure.
On every crime podcast ever, they're like, at least Crime Junkie, they're like, okay, I'm sending you what that murder scene looked like right now, and the other people's like, oh no, this is my first time seeing this.
Right.
There's that, and then there's like when a podcast has like a psychologist on or something, and they're just going off, and the other guy's like, or has a rocket scientist on, and he's like,
I'm gonna be a good combination of both of those today, just so you guys know. I'm gonna be somewhere in between the and the what? Wait, tell me more about this. I have no idea what's going on. Right now.
I've never heard of this before.
All right. Well, let's roll back into this.
This is all going to be left in, by the way.
I know. When I say roll back in, I mean let's just continue on with what we're doing.
Let's
right
keep
now.
rolling. Yeah.
And it
boys,
never happened.
Boys, how the heck are you? This is Rock and Roll Brunch episode number 6. My name is Josh Marcanti. With me, as always, are my two lovely co-hosts, Mr. Dane Erbach. Dane, how are you today?
I have had better mornings, but I am here and doing good. Doing fine. I'm doing fine.
Doing fine.
I'm doing all right.
Let me tell you, you look wonderful.
You look great. You look great.
You look good. You look like $1 million.
I look like I might not have slept that well last night, and that would be correct.
With me also today is Mr. Chris Marcanti. Chris,
Yeah.
how the hell are you?
Listen, Josh, what I want to say is that there are 3 people here, and 2 of them don't have COVID. So the 2 that don't are actually the ones that feel top notch.
Yeah,
Josh,
those of us who do.
Let me ask you a question.
I've had better mornings.
Feeling?
I'm gonna try to not cough during this episode.
That's gonna be tough.
I think that's a podcasting no is to just cough. But when you've had COVID, like I have, and you delayed the original week of episode 6, you're gonna want to suck those coughs right back down in your throat.
Just hold them right in.
Just gonna want to. But I got to tell you, I got the urge right now. So yeah, I had COVID, and it did delay the episode original week we had scheduled to do episode 6. So this might be a little bit delayed. That said, I'm riding all these antibodies straight to hell. You know.
I want to say the biggest consequence of you getting COVID is the fact that Dane and I were ready to go and record a podcast,
right?
And then here you were. Guys, I don't think I'm going to make it.
Yeah, I was really...
And I'm not sure if that was the podcast you weren't going to make, life you weren't going to make, but you just said, guys, I'm not going to make it.
I believe what I said was, no, we're gonna muscle through this. That was a few days into me actually having it. And then, this came the Saturday night beforehand. I'm like, no.
I think that made it worse for me. I feel like I was like, well, Josh is fine. We'll be able to do the podcast. And then you're like, guys, I don't know, man. Cough, I don't know. And I was like, oh no. Is Josh like, I think Chris, you're actively like cheering on the virus at this
point.
You get it.
Yeah.
You get it.
You
get it.
Yes.
I've been kind of silently like pretty freaked out at home. Like, oh my gosh, Josh is the first friend of mine who's caught it. And
the weird thing is you spend a whole year of your life, an entire year of your life, avoiding this, like doing everything you're supposed to be doing it all right, and then you finally get that shot, that initial vaccination, where you're like, all right, we can, I think we may, and then the next day I got COVID.
You probably went to Menards without a mask, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I did not. I did not.
I've mentioned this before, but now I've been telling literally anyone that'll listen, like, yeah, my brother, he went and got the vaccine on Friday, and then he got COVID immediately. Like, I don't want to say that there's a connection here, but
oh no, don't say that.
Not a coincidence.
Don't
not
say
a coincidence.
that.
Not a coincidence.
I don't want to blame it all on Joe Biden, but certainly didn't help.
Oh boy,
that's an Arrested Development joke.
It's true. I was going to ask if you ever noticed that Joe Biden is a what do they call the thing where you switch the letters around?
An anagram or whatever.
Anagram for Bill Gates.
You know,
Joe Biden's an anagram for Bill Gates.
I think it was probably just the microchip that I got. That maybe whoever touched the microchip last had the COVID, and then when I got the vaccine in the back of my neck and they gave me the microchip.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that's how I got it.
Well, the microchip had COVID.
That's what I'm saying. I think maybe the surface of the microchip had COVID.
No. I'm saying
the chip itself.
They hit the button. They deployed COVID into your body. That way, when 5G
it all makes sense now.
They knew right where you were.
When the 5G kicked in, they also,
they knew right where you were.
Chris, it all makes sense. It all makes sense.
I was gonna just spread the other conspiracy theory that they give you COVID when you get the vaccine, you get a little bit of COVID. And, but no, I thought that was a better conspiracy theory, guys. So good job with that. You guys are pretty good at that. Suspiciously good at that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm doing well. Thank you very much. I think
nobody asked.
Yeah. Wait, are you really doing well? Are you really doing better? Because you wouldn't answer me earlier. We said, let's save this for the podcast.
I am legitimately doing well. I have like the worst. I had like all the flu-like symptoms, everything you hear. I did lose my taste for a little bit. As of a week later, plus I have like a little tickle in my throat. So I may sound a little bit more down here, but that's about it.
So you're saying that they've blown it out of proportion?
No, stop. You've got to stop doing
it's not a big deal. Okay?
No, you've got to stop doing this, guys.
You don't have to wear your mask. Just a little cough, okay?
You guys, you can't do this because people don't know you well enough in episode 6 to know that you're goofing. So we have to. The journalism teacher in me has to preface this with.
There's a goof.
Nah. Yeah, this is just a goof, guys.
This early on in the novel, the goofy characters haven't been established.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Guys, you don't have to wear a mask. It's fine.
I can't wait to edit all these things together.
Dane.
Are you eating a cookie?
No, it's a granola bar.
Breakfast cookie.
Speaking of brunch, Dane, are you drinking anything good today?
I'm still drinking my Just coffee. I've been saving it. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. But I have so I took the plunge, and I finally donated to my local NPR station during the most recent pledge drive.
WBEZ?
Yeah, I'm at that stage in life now where I listen to WBEZ every day, and I figured, what's $10 a month, right? So I have a cool WBEZ mug and some more coffee coming.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
Did you get a tote?
No, just the mug. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a big mug?
I don't know, but it might be the next one that I whenever I get it, it'll be the next one that I bring to the episode probably.
It feels like a radio friendly mug.
Sure.
Chris, what about you? Are you drinking anything good? Eating anything good?
No. Well,
guys, I really need you to up this brunch in the rock and roll brunch.
The portion of it. I like eggs.
Wait. Well,
in general,
hold on.
or
stretch the silence a little longer.
Yeah.
Yep.
This makes for a good podcast.
Just wait. You just like eggs in general, or like
you're talking about brunch.
Hey man, that's cool. That's a really cool story. That's cool. You like eggs.
I like
cool
breakfast thing. I'm drinking Big Shoulders Chicago coffee.
Cool.
Josh, what about you? What are you drinking?
Yeah, I'm still rocking Collectivo.
Anything that you can taste?
Not to the full capacity, no.
Yeah.
Not entirely, no. Yeah. And then I'm
Chris,
eating
you've
the
been
nat-
waiting. Chris, you've been waiting just like a week to be able to.
He really
like,
has. If you guys
Oh,
can
I
tell.
got them all
these-
written. I got them all written down. Just looking for a public forum.
Well, with all the formalities of my illness out of the way, let us get started and get to the meat and potatoes of this show, which is going to be recent article that came out. Was that the Atlantic, right, Chris? I copied it from
Billboard.
Apple News. Billboard. Oh, that's right. Billboard. Okay, thank you. NFTs are booming, and the music biz desperately wants in. This one was brought to us by the good folks at Billboard. Yeah, so there's been a real boom recently with NFTs. You might have heard rumblings and grumblings about it on your media of choice. And music is going to be no exception to how things are going to be rolling out, or maybe. So here to explain to us is an NFT expert. Come on in. I'm just kidding. It's Chris. Chris.
You know what's funny is if ever there is like a topic where I'm like, I know everything about it and I'm gonna rant about it, this would be it. Although I think that just means that I'm gonna sound like an idiot, most likely.
Are you when you say as an expert, are you referring to like from like an economic perspective, or like you're a blockchain expert?
But I would say both. I
Wow.
would say both. Yeah.
Wow. What are you mining? What are you into? Where you at? You're Ethereum.
Yeah.
You got the rig back there?
Yeah, guy.
Is that sound I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly
The mining rig?
The mining rig.
Look at Dane's stupid face.
I have no idea what's happening right now. Like straight up.
Very high level NFTs. The whole point NFTs. The whole point behind NFTs is what they call smart contracts. Every NFT is a smart contract, but not every smart contract is an NFT. You like that? You like it?
No, I'm eating this granola bar.
Oh.
I think I got my taste buds back, baby.
You guys are. I'm sorry. You're like really on today, and I'm very. I know I said earlier that my role today was gonna be part guy and part like what is this? But I think I'm also the laugh track today. I'm sorry,
Love
you guys. That was like too good. I'm sorry.
That was pretty good. Josh, pretty good.
Thank you, appreciate it.
How to describe NFTs? The reason NFTs are really going to change the music business is the whole point of an NFT is that you take out the middleman. Is really what the name of the game is here. It's still very early on in like how they'll be used and all this other stuff. But the way you should think about it is you can take an album and code it with something that says anytime this album changes hands, I get a percentage of the money that transacted. So like somebody buys, literally like a flashlight, I sell it to Josh. In that transaction, I sell it to Josh for $10, and you can write into the code a percentage that you want to take of the transaction every time. So call it like a royalty, call it 10%, right? So you want to take $1 every time that this flashlight changes hands for $10. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but isn't that only part? Okay, here we already go. Isn't that only part of it where you can, when you mint it and create the contract for it, you can do it so that you get royalties on the resale and stuff like that. But that's not the initial point. Is not about necessarily the royalties. It's about the sale of a collectible item and the perceived value of that item.
Yeah, and so the whole point about NFT and the reason I think you should separate what's happening in NFTs with smart contracts.
This is what
because,
yeah.
But the more we have this discussion, the further down the rabbit hole you end up going. But is that the whole thing about NFTs right now is that people are selling digital artwork as an NFT, and and so the people creating that artwork as an NFT, a token, whatever.
It's fungible, non-fungible.
It's non-fungible,
Wow.
correct? Nicely done. it's just so overvalued right now that like people are making this huge thing about it as the world turns from like digital to or physical to digital. And so the reason that people are so excited about it is because anything can be digital, can be sort of an NFT artwork wise that you could sell. And so like, oh, you could sell people like a t-shirt for their digital avatar, like a digital avatar in like World of Warcraft or whatever.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Just keep going about the World of Warcraft thing.
Yeah. But that's kind of different than what will end up happening with music.
What is the? Because to me, I understand like, okay, a band creates a X digital thing, and it is it is digitally signed, so there's only one of them. There's value there, but I don't know if there's a future in that. My question to you is specifically, how does NFTs and their popularity change the way that that music is?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
and
from the music perspective.
Again, the idea should be that stop thinking about it necessarily as like a one-off thing, because theoretically, every MP3 that's created will eventually have a smart contract associated with it. And so you have a 10-song album, you have 10 NFTs, right? So the reason that changes the music industry is now you no longer have to involve a publisher. You no longer have to involve a record label in the way that when they own masters and things like that, because they're the whole point of a smart contract is taking out the middleman. You no longer need someone to help you transact because you can do it between two people and get paid forever ad infinitum.
Sure.
Without ever having to pay a middleman to do it.
But you're not gonna like the idea behind an NFT is that there's one of them, correct?
This is why I'm saying separate the idea of an NFT with what will happen in the music industry with smart contracts. Yes, the whole point of an NFT is that there's one of them. And you would theoretically only have you could create one MP3 for one song, and it would be that would be
Gotcha.
a unique token, a non.
So then why?
Token.
So why would somebody buy an MP3, or why would somebody buy a track of something, of a record, let's say? Why would somebody buy a record and pay NFT money when they could just go on Spotify and stream it for free?
So the whole thing would be is now you could take that NFT that's an MP3 on Spotify and get paid every time a stream happens directly as an artist. Does that make sense?
I guess so,
that would be the contract. That would be the transaction that's taking place. Instead of Spotify has to aggregate all of this data and they give you a 0.00001 of the total revenue of blah, 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 blah. You would theoretically be able to take a piece. So let's say I'm a Spotify listener. I spend $10 a month. You could theoretically take my $10 and break it down exactly by each MP3 that I play, and the second I play them, I would get paid a royalty as an artist. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's how it'll end up changing. And then, by the way, you're no longer involving publishers. So publishers aren't managing when you're getting played on the radio. Publishers aren't managing when you're getting a sync to a movie, anything like that. The second it happens, I can sell an album as an NFT or 30 seconds of a song as an NFT to, some DreamWorks or whoever's making a movie. The second that transaction happens, I get paid. There's no middleman. The whole point of it is that there's no middleman anymore.
I guess I'm struggling with that concept of like if you will, micro NFTs, where like on imagine Spotify where like every time you stream something that's a micro NFT. Let's just say,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm struggling with that concept. Like when you said like, oh, I'm selling my NFT, my 30 seconds to DreamWorks, and they're going to pay me millions to be in their latest movie. That to me, that fits the mold of what an NFT is. The like smaller version of that is what I'm like. I don't know how it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and I'm being 100% honest with you. It's literally
you don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea what I am talking about. What I would say is that it's right now it makes no sense to do it. The cost to create an NFT is egregiously high. So you could never. It would be near impossible to create a unique NFT every single time.
Sure. Okay.
That's the whole thing.
Got it.
And so go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say this is maybe my chance to jump in with whatever 2 cents I have, because right now it feels like it's more of a novelty, like it's a thing that wealthy people can play with to say, look, I own, and this is gonna involve the article I sent you guys earlier this week or last week about Bad Bunny and her meme.
Bad baby.
Bad baby. Sorry,
Didn't even get it. Couldn't even get it right.
I'm sorry that I knew. I'm sorry that I knew that.
I don't care about Bad Baby.
Corrected him.
Sorry, I'm going on the record, but like,
She'll catch you outside for that.
yeah, I barely even know this meme, and I definitely don't understand it. I know what it's about. I know where it came from. But why somebody would be like, the thing that caught me off guard is like, so a Bad Baby decided she's going to sell her meme, and she says like when you get the person, let me see if I can find the quote. It says something about the person who's going to get the meme, who signs the contract is going to get all of these other original works based on the meme. Sorry, I'm struggling a little bit through this. And then to me it feels like, what does it mean to buy a meme? Which is a thing that's shared by millions of people every single day, And
But
what is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you're getting the rights to something that feels like I understand if an artist wants to create like a painting, a digital piece of art, right? And that's one of a kind. I see that. I understand if a musician wants to create a song, that's one of a kind. And I know that this is where the conversation is right now, but that eventually we could do this to multiple copies of something. But it seems weird that some of this stuff that's easily shareable already could be purchased. And I think maybe that's the Spotify streaming part of this too. Like, I don't want Bad Baby's meme, right? Her quote, I have to read this quote.
I think you do.
It says, my problem with the meme...
You sent it to us.
Yeah, hold on. It says, my problem with the meme was that that people only got to see half the story. For years, I didn't even want to talk about it. And then she continues, I want to let this go. I want to let this meme flourish on its own. The next bitch can have it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do what they want to do with it. There's going to be an owner of this shit going forward, but it damn sure ain't gonna be me. I don't know what that means.
I don't think it means much.
You're saying this, but when you sent us the article, you asked to borrow money to buy this NFT.
Okay.
So you're saying it. You're coming off publicly like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what
But
it
it
is.
said
And you were
there
asking
was-
about you were talking about your favorite Bad Baby meme.
Okay,
Yeah.
but listen, it
I
said
was
in
like,
here that
Too rich for my blood.
It said that David Spade was one of the artists contributing to the final meme, and I got my David Spade collection going that I got to keep going here.
Okay, all right.
But for real though, like I don't understand
Don't I
how
know
you
it
can. I don't know how you can buy a meme.
Let me
just answer the question. I think, and I think maybe that comes from just and Chris, stop me if I'm wrong. I think that comes from
You're wrong.
needing a basic, and I'm not saying you don't, a basic understanding of blockchain and
Yeah, I have no idea.
and how it can be digitally signed for. So yeah, because it goes in the ledger, the blockchain ledger. It exists online.
Oh boy.
That you, Dane, own it.
Correct.
So,
But the reason that I want to add on to that, the whole point of blockchain is that it's 100% transparent. At any point,
Right.
anybody could go, "Oh, Dane owns the Bad Baby meme."
But can you own a meme?
Yes, you can. And
you
so
can
here's
own the.
this is how I want to lock it in place for you. If you can imagine a world where on Facebook you use as your profile picture the Bad Baby meme, right? That's what you use as your Facebook.
You're using that.
And people,
right now.
Well, currently,
Yeah,
so
right.
now that you use it,
Now that it's your
I'm
favorite.
I'm just changing my Facebook.
yeah, now that you bought it, people can see that Dane Urbach owns that meme.
Yeah.
And so that's where the value comes into play for people socially.
It's a collector thing.
Yeah. The catch of this whole thing is that almost 99% of NFTs are going to go to zero. Like, they're going to be worth like $0. Maybe the one that Beeple guy made that was like 70 million that sold at auction, that one someday will be worth $1 million instead of $70 million. But almost every NFT is going to go to $0 as the market figures out how much these things are actually worth in real life. Again, the whole point is not, from the music industry, is like this one, and I think the thing that Kings of Leon did I've spent so much time thinking about this. I think it's a perfect thing to do for bands, Dane, that are at your level. What they did was that they created an album, they put an album on the NFT, but they also put a unique identifier that said, if you hold this NFT, you can get front row seats to every Kings of Leon show for the rest of time. And so now it creates value. Now you go, oh shit, I want to buy that thing. And so people start bidding that price up. Every time that NFT changes hands, which is just an electronic ticket, for the lack of a better term, Kings of Leon gets to get paid on that transaction. As there's 10 of them, or however many are out in the world, that go like, okay, 10 people in the world for the rest of the time that Kings of Leon is a band get to sit front row for a Kings of Leon show. So that's where like the value, I think, for bands comes. So you have to think of like weird, unique things that bands can offer their artists, but you have to think of it as another revenue stream rather than the thing. Meaning, like, people are going to say album sales and streams and t-shirt merchandise and then NFT revenue. Like, that's going to become
crazy.
Part of the whole total wallet of what it means to be a band. Like, it's not going to necessarily be like, all right, we're going to hang our hat on NFTs now or on smart contracts as an artist. It's going to be a larger portion of what it means to be a band.
And
the hard part about it is, and I'll just say this last part. The hard part about it is, how do you show that value forever enough that people trust buying it? Like, what if Kings of Leon breaks up and you just bought an NFT for $15,000 so that you could be front row for every show, and then they go, deuces, we're out of here, and now your thing goes to zero. It's worthless. How do you create something that transcends the band, that has to do with the band, but can outlive the band? That's the thing that artists have to ask themselves.
I think I actually got that, by the way.
I actually think so too.
Yeah. Good.
What I'm very interested in is, to your point, I love that bands are going to have new sources of revenue. Honestly, like, even for the small guys, you know, like you could conceive a future where like Rock and Roll Brunch creates an NFT and one of our 3 listeners buys it. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you know, that's something that it's not a t-shirt. It's not a da-da-da. It's a new thing that we created, that we creatively made and sold. And I think that's great for bands. I mean, even if it's like I said, like micro versions of it where they're not $6 million, they are, you know, I don't know, $100.
I've spent so much time thinking about what a band like Broken Field Runner,
and that was going to be my question.
Would do. There's that. I feel like that guy, from everything I've understand about that guy, he's like uber creative and trying to, like, the way he, I don't want to say, I'm making so many assertions about this guy, but like the way he writes music and how he puts music out and things of that nature, like he seems to be super creative. And I keep thinking, like, what would a guy like that do with a one-off, 2-off, 3-off NFT that he would create? What kind of value could he give to his audience that would be, how could you transform it from being a digital thing to a physical thing that somebody might be excited about? It's so early times. It's such early days for like what it means to be a smart contract, what it means to be an NFT, and how it can change creativity and artistry and everything like that. It just hasn't been figured out yet, and the barrier to entry is too high. It costs like $50 to $60, and as high as $100 to create one FT right now. And so, like, the idea that you can create a 10-song album, it's just ridiculous that it's too expensive. But how could a band like Broken Field Runner use the
What could they make?
uniqueness
You're right.
of an NFT, to
Well, and I'm glad you're thinking of a band like Broken Field Runner because they have been chatting with me a lot about a new release coming up, and we've been just like hitting our head against the wall about like how do we find a broader audience? How do we help people see the value of this music? And if the answer is attaching something different that's got a different kind of value to like presenting it alongside the music, I think that's kind of a cool idea. It's just maybe right now it feels like everything's very like a prospector. You know what I mean? Like everyone's trying to look for the gold mine.
It is.
Everyone's also trying to, what's the word? They're opportunists a bit. And they're trying to say, what value do I have? Oh, I know. I was the punchline to a meme.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can sell that meme and get me some money. Look, David Spade is wrapped into this somehow. I can maybe get some of that in there too.
It feels like it's so new and it's so unknown that like people don't understand. You know, even the article they talk about, people don't fully understand what an NFT is before they rush to try to make quick money off of it. But you can imagine a 6-month future, a year future, where people have a really good idea of what this is and how they can, for smaller bands to really utilize it and really have it be another source of income.
And the two things I want to say very quickly is that
you want to say something?
Yeah, you have to think about it as the beginning of the internet, right? Which like right now, NFTs and buying and selling cryptocurrency, people immediately turn their brain off. They're like, I don't know what the hell cryptocurrency is. I don't even want to be involved in cryptocurrency.
That's me.
Right.
It sounds illegal.
Because doesn't sound legal.
Cryptids? Oh, no, not cryptozoology. Cryptocurrency. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Talk to me when it's about Bigfoot.
Isn't a cryptid a kind of Pokemon?
No, I wish.
Okay. Go ahead,
Could you
Chris.
imagine?
Sorry.
Never mind. Sorry.
Look how I engaged him.
Yeah, he lit up. He literally lit up.
Too easy.
And because right now you have to get a wallet, you have to purchase Ethereum, you have to do all of these things. There's all these different barriers to entry. When the internet was first starting, everyone thought it wouldn't go anywhere, right? Like it was a kind of a non-starter because you needed all of these different barriers to entry. Like it wasn't even just a computer; it was like a box that was whatever. When that solves itself later on in life, when people can transact with cryptocurrency or buy NFTs just by clicking an app on their phone, that's when this thing will really go to 100, right? And that could be 5 years from now. But Dane, what I was going to say to you is you have to think about it like this. Jetsam Flotsam could sell 5 NFTs right now, right? You could create an NFT token, each with their own unique individual artwork that you came up with, that says the holder of this NFT for the rest of time, whatever release Jetsam Flotsam comes out with, I will send you that release, right? So you bought the NFT, you hold on to the NFT, and for the rest of time, you get every release that Jetsam Flotsam puts out. That's the kind of thing that people should be thinking about how to use NFTs
Chris,
right now.
I don't know which NFT you're selling.
All of them.
But I'm buying it, baby.
You're buying them. Good.
This reminds me of like that one douche who Who bought that single Wu-Tang Clan record?
Sorry, I thought you were talking about Chris.
No, not Chris. Yeah. You know how like Wu-Tang Clan made that one record that there was only one copy of it?
You're talking about the Pharma Bro. The Pharma Bro.
Yeah, that was totally his name. He's
Martin Shkreli.
Yeah.
Why am I able to pull up that name?
That just came right out.
I don't know. I don't like it. Continue.
This all reminds me of like that's the analog version of this a bit. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I kind of wish, I have no interest in Wu-Tang Clan, but I would still love to hear that record.
Yeah, we don't have time, but I would love to go through and like name the kind of NFTs you'd be interested in buying, but maybe that's another show for another day.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if we helped clarify anything about NFTs.
I think we did. I think we landed.
I think a little bit more.
I think you landed the plane. I think people have a better understanding. I have a better. I think I have a better understanding. I think if you look at Dane's face.
Yeah.
Look at.
I feel like I've been studying my face throughout this conversation, and I feel like it's gone through different phases.
He's got a better understanding. What I'd like to hear, what I'd like to hear now from Dane is more on the next subject we're going to talk about. Yeah, which see that transition? Which is going to be the review that we're going to be going over this week. It's going to be the latest from Chicago-based band Masi. God, I hope I'm saying that right. I really did try to hear the pronunciation. I hope I'm saying it right. Guys, if you're listening and I'm saying it wrong, I'm so sorry. I like your band.
Spoiler alert.
You just ruined the whole review. Like, who's
No,
going to
no,
listen now?
We
It's
can
fine.
go.
I said I like the band. The record could be a different story. You have to stay tuned.
Okay.
This one just came out. It's Laughs. It's
Cliffhanger.
It's their second full length record. Dane, what'd you think about this one?
I've been listening to this record a lot the past couple weeks. Like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's I don't want to say it's grown on me because it has you okay?
I'll survive.
Oh, okay. I don't want to say it's grown on me because I think it hit me pretty hard right away. Like, oh, that first song. I mean, that's like an epic song right there, right? Hold on, I'm pulling it open so I can get song titles. Still Life, right?
Still Life.
So I've been thinking a lot about what I wanted to say during this review, and one of the things that has occurred to me is that while I'm listening to this record, and I've been a fan of this band's for a while, right? I was they kind of ran as a band for a while before they changed their name. They were called The Howl, I believe, and I was jamming their EPs and stuff a lot. So I've been a fan of this band for a long time, and I kind of I thought I knew what I was getting with this record. And what strikes me is that with this record, I feel like I hear a lot of other bands.
Mm-hmm. I 100%. Yep.
So, there'll be a chunk that feels like there's a Menzingers vibe to it. There's a couple chunks that feel like straight out of an older Against Me record.
That was going to be my reference.
Yeah. There are parts that feel like Propagandy. And in fact, Still Life, it's a pretty long song. I feel like that one reminds me of the first song from a more recent Propagandy record that kind of like has this build up halfway through it, and then this big like climactic sort of like final chorus and stuff. And that song does it for me in that way. It's pretty good. If I have a beef with this record, and it's a very small beef, it is that. It feels like they're like 90% of this record feels like a band that's just discovered who they are and their sound, and that there are glimpses though where it feels not derivative, but you can sense the influence that they're wearing on their sleeve. And those moments are still very good. Like the part of the each song where I'm like, oh, that just reminds me of there might have been another one in there and that I can't think of right now. But hey, that part just reminds me of Against Me. Like even those parts are good, right?
Right.
But I feel like this band may have another record to go before they feel like they're, instead of sounding like the Menzingers, are a band that have a totally pure identity. I didn't want to come on the podcast saying that. I was going back and forth a bit.
To defend you, there's some of our favorite bands of all time. It's not until their like fifth or sixth record where you're like, guys, they settled in and they're like, this is who they are.
I feel like
I don't think that's a bad thing to say.
We were talking to there's a quick text exchange with our friend Jim. Hey Jim. And
hey, Jim.
And he was talking about Less Than Jake. And I sent a message yesterday that I've been thinking a lot about how their record, I think it's Chase the Light. It's a more recent one of theirs, is kind of like Less Than Jake has just settled into who they are, and it's
15 albums later.
Well, yeah. And I'm not saying that they finally found their sound, because they found that in fucking Pezcore or whatever. Oh, sorry, explicit.
I gave us the explicit tag. You're good.
You know what I mean? Like, but for some reason, like that record felt like a flawless version of it. I feel like Kali Masi might be a record or two away from that. Now, I know I'm talking too much, but that said, this is really an amazing record. It's like all of those bands a little heavier. And then there are these moments where like we've just got, I think the lead singer's name's Sam. His voice is just so confident and just nails it. Like every instrument just, I feel like the record roars. I know that sounds so dorky to say.
No, I like it.
It just feels so big. It feels like, the Menzingers can be a little jangly and can be, no matter how much emotion they bring to the table, I feel like Kali Masi brings more. They're just bigger and heavier, and I feel like they should lean into that as they are finding, as they pursue their next round of songs. That's just my hot take, and I'm trying my best to be as trying to be a critic here and not just like a champion, because I could be a champion to this band.
Right.
But that would be my take. Man, I really love this record though. Every time I spin it, I've been digging it more and more.
Awesome. Chris.
Josh, why don't you go?
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try to not say a lot of the same thing. Try to not say a lot of the same things Dane said. Because I really could be a champion of this record. I found these guys recently. I even talked about it on the show. One of their tracks had been featured on an Apple playlist that I found. I was like, holy shit. And then I went back and I was listening to wind instruments a lot. And so I was really excited for this one to come out. And yeah, in my book, this one did not disappoint at all. Really, I'm just starting to kind of get into what these guys are doing. I especially like, I definitely heard all the influences, like Dane was talking about. But I do feel like they put a little bit of like in a lot of those areas, they gave it like air, they gave it room to breathe. And like, that's what helps separate it apart. It's like, how do you write some, major rock and roll, hooks and parts and like not show a little against me. That's got to be a tough thing to balance. What I really liked is there's like a hard thing to describe, a hard intangible Chicago thing going on here too, where like that sense, that like Midwestern sense of like being unsure or like seeking, and like that, like in my brain, like when I hear that sound, I think of the color gray. I don't know why, I always associate like music with colors, and like I think of like it reminds me of like a Chicago like winter where everything's kind of just gray, and like for my money, this is like the finest version of what a Chicago sound can really be.
Interesting.
I mean, Chicago sounds can be a lot more pop punky. They can be a lot more, a lot headier, a lot, you can find that. But like, to me, this is like a really refined, like Chicago sound. It's really hard for me to describe, but to me, I heard it. I can hear that, that influence. So yeah, I really enjoyed this record. Love the hell out of it. We'll continue to listen. Chris.
Yeah, I think what's funny is like I have the same feeling about the Chicago sound, and for some reason in my mind it's like concrete. I don't know what, like
similar color to gray. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like I think of like Chicago bands. I would say even on the pop punk side, but like Chicago rock and roll bands rather. And there's like this like the guitar tone never gets to like super crisp, over engineered like guitar tones. Like it's guitar tones that are like always just like on the edge of being like uncomfortably raw and like really dialed in. That's the like Chicago guitar tone of like hitting concrete with a hammer. Like it's just the sound that is like super raw. But the other band I would say is on the track Hurts to Laugh was very gaslighty. Like there was a lot of gaslighty parts that happen. And to your point, Dan, like none of that is and it's almost dumb to say, like none of that's bad. Like it's all really, really
all
good.
of those are bands we really, really like, right?
Yeah,
right.
for sure. And I think like Wind Instrument to Laughs, it's like they're like sharpening the pencil to get to where they inevitably will be like ridiculously dialed in. But anyway, the entire album was phenomenal. I would definitely spin it. The one thing that sticks out to me in a very funny way, it's because it's the thing I listen to the most when I'm listening to music, is that there are almost no harmonies in this record. And when you have a lead singer,
think about that.
When you have a lead singer that is so, his voice takes up so much room that you don't need harmonies. All Josh and I lean on is harmonies. Like, we could put more harmonies in here. Like, let's make sure this.
I'm uncomfortable with no harmonies. So
100%.
just throw them in there.
You have a lead singer that's his voice takes up so much room that you're like, it's probably better not to have harmonies here. And you don't lean on that as like a musical trope, that you just put out there what the melody does, and that's what takes hold in the songs. I just find that fascinating when bands don't do that. And like everything about this album, including not having harmonies, was just like locked in for me. So anyway,
one thing I forgot to mention. I think something that people not from Chicago might not know this about Chicago is there's a vibe within the music of Chicago, which is like nobody's trying to be famous in Chicago with their music.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they are. Like, success would be great. You know, everyone's like, oh, I they'd love to be successful and whatever. But this isn't New York. This isn't LA. This isn't Nashville, where like the goal is to get on the radio. That doesn't really exist here. And obviously, music can travel farther than your region, obviously. But like, I also got that when that happens, Chicago goes, I just need to do. I need to put out this feeling of whoever I am, whatever I'm trying to convey. It's just because I'm not, the pretentiousness of trying to be famous is not there. I just get to put out the thing that I want to.
That's a great.
There's,
Super interesting.
And I feel that with this too.
I feel like the California and New York and Nashville, right? But Gainesville and Boston and all of these, I could rattle off a couple bands from St. Louis or like Seattle, obviously, right? They do have a sort of sound that comes out of them. I do think, though, that people from Chicago might not. This sounds really pretentious, and I always feel like I'm pretentious when I'm talking about this. But
what a douche.
I know, it seems so douchey, but people who aren't from Chicago might not be able to spot or sense that ineffable thing that like comes along with a Chicago band. You know what I mean? And it is the grayness I get. The Josh, I want to try to pin a word to what you're trying to say. Is like, there's an honesty.
Thank you.
To Chicago music, especially.
I'm a complete idiot. That is exactly what it is.
That's true.
To a Chicago punk-ish music, especially in rock music, that feels like they're doing it because it's got to come out. I mean, a lot of bands are like that, but there's something about the way Chicago bands are that feels that way. And I don't know. Someone might call us out for that, but if you're from the Chicago area, I think you might get it.
Well, we'd love to have Kali Masi on someday, and they can call us out for being douches and pretentious and all that stuff.
They could tell us how to say their name.
Yeah. So real quick, Chris, where's this one going to kind of sit in your 2021, do you think?
I mean, towards the top, without a doubt. I think it's a heavy rotation. I guarantee it's going to be a real fall album for me. Come September and October.
Cool. Dane, what about you in your list of 2021 records? What do you think?
Honestly, I try not to think of like what are top records and stuff like that. And even when it's the end of the year, I've stopped.
Cool, man.
Oh,
you have a good day. No, have a great day.
Josh, what do you think?
Oh my God,
stop.
dude.
Just let me shut. You guys are
I'm sorry. You want to? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
For real though, like I try not to do all that stuff, but I definitely think that like this record is a spring record for me. I mean, 100% is going to paint. It's painting the color of this spring with all its weirdness and ups and downs and stuff. I will definitely listen to this record a lot more. I think even more so than any other record we've reviewed so far. This one's going to just stay on in my library for a while. And I think part of the reason why is because I'm so fascinated by like the thing that I criticized. Like I think I like trying to hear like that chorus just feels this like this band, or that bridge just had the vibe of this kind of thing. I just feel like I'm thinking about this record a lot when I'm listening to it, and it's engaging my my cerebral cortex.
I felt that in my brain too.
Yeah,
I felt that.
I'm going to
that
keep
wrinkle.
listening because of that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you guys more. This one will definitely be at the top of my records for this year. In the 6 episodes we've done records I've immediately deleted because I'm like, but this one is like hardcore. It's in my downloads. I'm jamming it throughout the, it's not going away. So
Can I say something, Josh?
No. Go ahead.
If you like a band that much, you should share their stuff on Facebook.
Yep.
You should like their stuff on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't buy albums anymore, so buy a T-shirt.
No,
like
buy the fucking vinyl.
Buy the vinyl.
Have you seen how awesome it looks?
It's
I mean, it looks amazing.
It's a good looking
record. I that's not what I meant to say. I just meant to say we stream music and bands get very little of that, and I feel like people forget about this portion of like the way that bands make money now is harder and harder and harder. So if you can just share their stuff on Facebook or on Instagram and stuff like that, that goes so much further than.
You can buy directly from them, kalimasi.bandcamp.com. You can find out all of their stuff. You can also go to their record label.
Take This to Heart.
Take This to Heart. Mm-hmm. So please support them. With that, Chris, thank you so much. Excellent point. Excellent point.
That's like a whole podcast episode, I feel like. Like, we should find...
I'd love to do
we should talk about
100%. Yeah, I think that could be definitely a future thing where we talk about all that. With that, let's go ahead and get out of here. Chris, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome, Josh.
You couldn't do this without you, buddy.
Well,
Dane, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Chris, I'm sorry, Chris. Where can people find what you're into, what you're up to?
The throwbackschicago.com all day.
Yep.
Every day.
Right on. Dane, thank you for joining me. Where can people find what you're up to?
Yeah, jetsonflotsam.bandcamp.com is a good place to start.
Sweet. Cool. Well, with that, folks, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for downloading the show. We've seen some people have actually started downloading and listening, so that's awesome. We noticed that. Thank you so much. With that, there's only one thing left to do. Get that.
Do it.
If I could just get that check, please.